Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now. So we are now broadcasting live on YouTube. Once again, video, audio, live audience. What else would you want here? Oh yes, a little bit of news and general excitement and merriment. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to TLDR Live. That is the Locker Gnome Daily Report. We have another jam-packed show for you. I have every reason to believe this will push into an hour and a half. That being said, just like we did yesterday, we have the original archive, the live-streamed archive, still on YouTube, and we carved up each individual segment, other than, I think, 2 of them didn't make the final individual cuts, and then uploaded separate videos for a total of like 15 videos over the past day. Just like everybody wanted to see, in conjunction with the Locker Gnome articles that were being written, and we have every reason to believe that we're going to have fun doing it again. So everyone is here checking for a roll call. Thank you. Yazamaru Ninja says, good evening, Mr. Pirillo. Hello. This is Billy H. Woot! With 2 zeros there. YaCy says, absolutely Apple with APP. That's funny. A nice little play on words. Like to interact with everybody who's commenting, so please comment away during the live feed. Now, I also have to let you know, before we go in too deep, that YouTube has been having encoding issues. While you, if you're listening to this streaming live, are having no problems hearing anything that's happening, there is potentially a bigger issue when YouTube is encoding it at its current time. I've had some discussions with them. So if you hear any audio mishaps during the course of this video or earlier live videos, they've told me that they will be addressing this and fixing the videos at some point in at least hopefully the near future. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and roll into it. We've got a full slate ahead today. Hello from Redmond, someone says. Actually, where's everybody watching from? I'm just curious about that. It looks like Bashamo Handel says hello from Redmond, right across the pond here in the Seattle area. Yeah, your epic demon voice says 7 Ormentum, or Tormentum. I guess that 7 is a T in hack or leet speak. Yes, so when it's like that, know that YouTube is fixing it and that we're carving out each of these videos individually so that you can watch them in their entirety, other than maybe a couple of videos which may not make the cut, like for individual clipping. Either way, hopefully everybody has subscribed, not just to this channel, but to the Locker Gnome email newsletter that's been going out over the web, well, pretty much since 1996. So please subscribe to the Locker Gnome newsletter. You'll get updates. You'll get the direct link to where we're going to be streaming live the next time. In fact, there may be an annotation up above me. That's where you can see the next live video link once we have it scheduled. So stay, in touch with us, and we'll stay in touch with you, and everybody will be happy. So we're getting people from all around the world. This damn Scotsman from Glasgow, Scotland in the UK. iFun Chris 1 says, hi, Chris. I'm Chris 2. See, this is what you get. You get mentioned. You get some shout-outs if you tune into the live video feed and you actually respond to the topics at hand. So with that, let's see here. Is everybody still continuing to check in? Thank you for sharing this link. Thank you, by the way, for liking this video. You can do that. When you're watching live, you can hit like. It's a really neat thing, but you can't like it as easily after the video has gone live at this point in time. YouTube needs to address that likely in an update. Likely? Get it? Likely? It's funny. After I teased this link out on Twitter and Facebook and Google+, people went to the page, you see the countdown, and the funny thing is, people were liking the video before anything had even, happened. So thank you for the faith, I guess. Hopefully I will, do you, the justice that you deserve in the live broadcast here as it continues to unfold. We're going to do things slightly different today than we did yesterday. I'm going to try to record these videos in a different capacity, and hopefully that will help speed up our processing time so we can turn them around quicker to you. So, see here, that seemed to work well. We're doing well so far, right? Yes, thumbs up. So, there's this app. It's not very well known. Something called Instagram on the iPhone. Oh, you've heard of it? Yeah, I think like millions and millions of you. Actually, there's a person who works for Instagram now who used to work for Locker Gnome. Just a little trivia question. Hi, Shane. Schwain. His last name's Sweeney, so Shane. I mixed. Instagram is an application, again, on the iPhone, at least at this point in time, that has an API. And with that API, you've got a handful of developers who are creating these experiences around Instagram. There's so much you can do with an Instagram account and all the photos that you're publishing to Instagram. There's, my photo stream of the people I happen to be following, and then I could also look at the photos that I've published, and I usually share them on Instagram and Flickr and Facebook and Twitter and, not all the social networks that I'm on, but many of them. And then you could, double tap a photo to like it. You could follow me on Instagram. I'm Chris Pirillo. Shocker there. But again, the beauty of Instagram is not that it's easy to use and not that it's just available on the iPhone at this point in time. It's this rich ecosystem that is built on top of this simple platform, Instagram being the platform I'm talking about. Because at some point in the future, maybe they'll release it for other mobile platforms. We can only hope. So we've assembled a list of 10, in my estimation, really nice experiences that tie directly into your Instagram account. So if you're on Instagram and you want to, say, print out some of the photos that you have on Instagram, you could probably use something called Kiipsee. That's something that we wrote about in this particular article, this roundup of really useful, or potentially useful Instagram contingent services. So you can create your own book out of some Instagram photos. Nothing really, shocking there. But what's even more interesting is something called Castagram. And you can effectively, and in fact, the thumbnail we use in the article shows this, you can take your Instagram photos and make an iPhone case out of your Instagram photos. You can have your own personalized iPhone case with your photos as published to your Instagram account. So Kiipsee, Castagram, Canvas Pop, Instaprint, the list kind of goes on and on. In fact, there's a certain service that, if I can find it here, I actually have it installed. I haven't used it yet, but it's something called Postagram. See, the list goes on and on. I'm just going to, highlight a couple of them. If you're really interested, I suggest, looking at the show notes for the link. With Postagram, it connects to my Instagram account, and then from here, I can take that photo and then mail it to somebody. Not me, like, taking the photo, but the service takes the photo, puts it inside a postcard, and then physically mails it to someone for a couple of bucks. And then they get that little postcard, and they can pop out that photo, that Instagram photo. It's like a photo, a real photo, a physical photo. Tons of services connect to Instagram. So it's not just, photo sharing, this app that you've been used to using. It's really gone beyond that thanks to really a rich developer ecosystem. And so it took me a while before I got into Instagram. Then I realized, it is kind of easy to take a photo and apply a few filters to it and share it on the web. In fact, some of the filters I've applied to my Instagram photos before I publish it to Twitter or Facebook or wherever, people ask, well, how did you do that filter? I'm like, well, I used Instagram. It really wasn't that difficult. Easy, fun, free, and all these services that surround it could help make your photo sharing experience better. If you know of an Instagram service that, either I didn't cover in this video or we didn't cover in the article, please let me know, because you never know. It may be something that I always wanted, like putting my photos on an iPhone case or, phone case in general. Let's keep this broad. Hopefully, like I said, they'll open it up. Leave a comment, a smart remark, as I'm sure you're going to do anyway. And then, feel free to follow me, comment, and if you post good photos, I was going to say cool photos and good photos. Boy, I'm just slurring my words tonight. They're coming together. Ghoul photos, that's good and cool photos. I might follow you back on Instagram. I've been known to do that, especially if you post things that I like. So, I don't know how many, I should ask here, the live audience, how many of you guys are even on Instagram? Let's see here. Name your communities you follow. Gosh, the list kind of goes on and on. When did Instagram first come out? Chris says Teen Tunes UK. A couple years ago, if I'm not mistaken. It's pretty new. Boy, I'm breaking a sweat here in this Mark Echo Stormtrooper hoodie. Whew, it's kind of hot. Take questions from the chat. Thank you, Edward the Tech Geek. I appreciate you thinking I'm your savior, but I'm human, really. I can't walk on water. I cannot turn water into wine. Ooh, what's floating in there? Do you see that? There's something floating in there. Artists Wiz says, Chris, can you say cheese? I wonder if they're taking an Instagram. Cheese! Is that even modern anymore? Can you say cheese? I don't know what people do anymore. Okay, so let's go ahead and move along here. We've got another article that we've written about Android. So, Ice Cream Sandwich is about to be released. And with this, we're going to see old phones getting updated, new phones being released with the newest OS. Ice Cream Sandwich, I've said this before, in fact, just yesterday with the array of articles, is a good incremental step. I think Android is coming into its own. They've certainly added a lot more polish to the Android experience and controlled it in the ways that Android needed to be reined in. The frustration that I have with Android devices is not that there are a billion of them. Okay, that's an exaggeration, but a lot of them. It's that there's so many that are running an operating system that is old by today's standards, like 2.x, right? Honeycomb was released, really optimized for tablets, didn't really see it on a lot of phones. And now we've got 4.0 right around the corner, Ice Cream Sandwich. And there's the question, can you get Ice Cream Sandwich on your device? Of course, it would likely have to be an Android device. Oh, and speaking of, today they announced that they've successfully put Ice Cream Sandwich on a Kindle Fire. It's not stable yet, but at least they've proven they can do it. And once it's rooted, you can go back to Amazon's version of Android software. That's just news that broke today. Now, another question that came in during the course of this particular article discussion. Do you use Android? What Android device do you currently use? I do use Android. And my primary Android device, you're probably going to be shocked. You may be disappointed. I don't know. Of course, I do have the Kindle Fire, but I also have my Google TV. This is my primary Android device. I've got the TV here in my home office. I've done reviews on it before. And with it, I can get to an app marketplace with apps that are optimized for the television experience. I can get to everything I need to get to. Pandora, Netflix, I've got a Fire or Yule log screensaver, but that is my primary Android experience. I don't think I'm going to see Ice Cream Sandwich on my TV anytime soon. So, a good rule of thumb, you'd think, would be that if you've purchased your Android device over the past year, there's a good chance that it should be able to handle Ice Cream Sandwich. But the problem is that the carriers are in control. It ain't Google. It ain't necessarily and I said ain't. It ain't necessarily the device manufacturer. It's the carriers who ultimately control that experience. And you're at their mercy. So don't buy, my recommendation, do not buy an Android device right now. If you want Ice Cream Sandwich, don't buy an Android device right now unless it has Ice Cream Sandwich on it. We're that close. If you buy it with the hopes that maybe one day Ice Cream Sandwich will appear, you could be waiting a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, never. How many times have you purchased advice? Purchased advice? Is that what I said? My advice is free. Take it for whatever it's worth. How many times have you purchased a device only to find that it never got updated when you were expecting updates? That is, it's a huge problem, especially with the existing fragmentation of Android. I wish that carriers would get aboard. Granted, not every particular Android phone today could handle Ice Cream Sandwich and really let it shine. But we're so close right now. Even if the carrier says, "Oh yes, we're going to be updating the phone at this time," you can't count on carriers, dude. Why do I have to explain this to you? And someone's just asking, it may be an innocent question, and I apologize for not answering this clearly up front. Nath Bentley, what's ice cream sandwich? That is the code name that Google is using for their next iteration of the Android operating system. I'm excited. As I've said before, they looked to be creating a very solid experience. Finally, 4.0. They're getting there. They weren't there with 2, even though a lot of you guys like it. Maybe I like my devices to be responsive and clean and not having apps crash left and right or having to install a task management app to kill background processes that shouldn't be running in the first place. Call me a stickler for details. So stay tuned for more announcements if you are curious to whether or not you'd have a good guideline whether your current phone is going to get ice cream sandwich. We've compiled the article for you to look at. The link, of course, is in the show notes. So how many Android users are out there, before I move on? I know I've got a lot of iPhone users, of course. Who out there is using Android at this point in time? Because I'm assuming that there are a few. Given the debates that, Ninja NGU asks if I like turtles. Please respond. I like turtles. Does that satisfy you? Are you happy now? Really? That? So if you are using Android, certainly we'd be interested in, tracking the progress of how you believe Android has been unfolding. Because everybody's had a different experience with Android. Some people, it's progressed just fine because they bought all the quote-unquote right devices. Android 2.3, Galaxy S2, I use ICS custom ROM, Android here, HTC status. Your usernames are kind of flying by here. Mr. M. France says, I'm on the old Nokia E71, lol, no Android. Well, that's not funny. M. Buckingham 24 says, using Motorola Triumph on Virgin Mobile. So here's the next question. And by the way, thank you for the likes that are coming in. I appreciate the balance, right? So there you go. Right up front, we've shared a story about Instagram, an iOS app, Android, talking about the future of that. So we've given a good balance between the two big mobile platforms, so no one should be mad at me yet. Give me a few more minutes, and then I'm sure we'll figure out a way you can get upset at me. I work out of my home, and this is my home office. I put it together before I realized that I'd be doing a lot of videos here, but it seems to work. People ask, hey, how'd you put together your set? It's not really a set. It's my home office. I do work here, and I listen to music. I do. I may not have the audio up on my live video feed at live.pirillo.com, though I'm streaming all the time. It's happening right now. Audio is not always where you can hear it. I can hear it because I'm here. But I do listen to music on a regular basis. And it kind of depends on my mood. I don't know what kind of music listener you are. If you even like listening to music while you work, can you even do that? If I'm concentrating on something, I can listen to anything. And this time of year, at the time that I'm recording the video, it's Christmas music, like 24/7. So we've compiled, for some reason, I have no idea why, there are 10 songs, at least 10 songs about Tuesday, which is a happier day than Monday. I think we could all agree. And I don't know if we're missing any songs from the Tuesday array. Certainly, it transcends genre. We've got a comment here, and I'm just going to go ahead and take feedback because this is the kind of video I'm looking to do is what music do you listen to while you work? What seems to work best for you? Like I said, Christmas music this time of year. I also do like listening to jazz. I admit it. I'm not embarrassed about it. Every once in a while, classical, just because it kind of puts me in a nice, calm mood. See here. I love music, says Artie Verde. It's great, but what kind of music do you tend to listen to? Especially when you're working, whether you're doing homework or working with other people in the office or working on your own. Fran Giannini says, you totally rock, Chris. Thank you. But are you saying that rock and roll, is that kind of a play on words? I don't know exactly what that was. Someone says Frank Sinatra, Japanese pop. I'm not really sure I could listen to that on a regular basis. But hey, that's cool. If that's what you like. Now, here's another thing that someone adds. Gravity Graphics says, I heart Pandora. If I listen to music, I'm 9 times out of 10 listening to it on Pandora. I'll tell you. I dropped my Spotify subscription, not paying for it anymore. I dropped my Rhapsody subscription, not really tracking any MP3s. I don't buy music through iTunes or Google Music or Amazon or anything. Pandora makes me happy. It really does. And I'm not even paying for that. I had a subscription, and I let it lapse. And maybe I asked for Christmas. My parents were asking, what do you want? I'm like, a Pandora Pro or Premium or Plus subscription, whatever they're calling it, to get rid of commercials. Pandora's it. So if I want to listen to music in my home office, or even when I'm on the go, I listen to Pandora. I have a Bluetooth connection in my car. Pandora is my go-to service because I can pick a genre, pick a song, and just boom, go. Someone here, Diego Doubt says, I heart Vivo. Just kidding. Oh, I've never really used Vivo. Honestly, Pandora's made me happy. I just pick a song and I go with it. Metal or female vocalists such as Kate Bush, says Baggins1. That's kind of an interesting dichotomy you have there, metal or Kate Bush. We all, I think, have eclectic tastes. So if, or tates, I really don't know what tates are, but you may be eclectic in that capacity. So, curious to know what music you listen to, what works best for you, and also curious to know what service you tend to use over all others. Pandora 1, thank you for the correction. I knew it was something like that. I don't know, they all name them something different. But I'm not paying anything for the music, and I get it legally. I mean, I'm using a service that's there. And I'm fine with it. You now have my answer. I've read some of yours. Are you waiting for a personal invitation to leave a comment? Okay. Please leave a comment. Hopefully that was enough of a personal invitation. I don't know. Oh, unfortunately, Louis Official, or Levi Official, I'm not sure how you pronounce that name, says we don't have it in the UK. Sorry about that. Dubstep, honestly, I've never heard dubstep. I'm going to admit it right now. Okay, so rolling along. After we posted the video from yesterday talking about how the AT&T T-Mobile merger was getting shot down, and the article that corresponded with it, there seems to be renewed hope that the iPhone will eventually make it to T-Mobile sooner rather than later. And someone on Google Plus, they posted in the comment thread there, they said, hey, how could I get the iPhone on T-Mobile? I said, oh, that's easy. All you need to do is switch to AT&T, Verizon, or Sprint. There are a couple of other networks, at least here in the States, that carry the iPhone. I mean, there are certainly some technical hurdles to overcome to get the current iteration of the iPhone 4S, working on T-Mobile's network. It is possible, but it's definitely not optimal. And there is, however, this idea that it can and will happen very soon. So we've covered it. There is renewed hope. So if you are on T-Mobile, and I don't even know how many people out there who are subscribed to this channel or watching this video are on T-Mobile. And if you are, go ahead and leave a comment in the live video feed, and I may bring it up if you have concerns with being on T-Mobile, or if you love T-Mobile and why. Of course, you're free to comment at any point during the video. People have asked if I would switch to T-Mobile if they got the iPhone. And I live in Seattle. When I pass the T-Mobile building, it always seems that my phone connection drops. And I always thought it was a conspiracy, like it's because I'm on AT&T's network that the phone connection drops outside of T-Mobile. But it seems that it's a dead zone for everything. Satellite radio, when I had that, I no longer have that. And the T-Mobile has a horrible time with connectivity around there. So I don't know. It's a great place to put a headquarters right there in a dead zone for data. I would not switch to T-Mobile for a few reasons. One, I'm happy enough with AT&T. They're not cheap. They're not as expensive as Verizon. They're not perfect, but over time, they've saved me money. They've called me up and said, hey, thank you for being a subscriber. Did you realize that you could actually save money by switching plans to X? I'm like, oh, cool. That's kind of nice. And I appreciated that. That goes a long way, that type of outreach. T-Mobile's had a nice array of phones for a while, but I just don't find myself switching to T-Mobile. And again, I'm talking about T-Mobile here in the States. I'm not talking about Deutsche Telekom, that exists outside the U.S. AT&T has served me well enough with the iPhone. I had switched from Verizon using an old Microsoft Pocket PC back in the day. I switched from Verizon because I thought they were expensive back then to AT&T because AT&T had better phones. This is before the iPhone, mind you. Before the iPhone. I was still using Windows Mobile by and large, although I don't know if they were calling it Windows Mobile back in the day, at least at that point. Microsoft changes what they call their mobile strategy every other year. You can depend on it. So if you see a phone that's on another network, are you inclined to switch to? I did. I don't know what I would have done if I was still on Verizon and the iPhone was released and I wanted the iPhone. I may have stuck with Verizon because of all the fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And I'm happy with the AT&T iPhone because, well, I do like, talking and also doing email or browsing at the same time. That is very useful, and you can't do that on Verizon's network. It's not as bad as people say it is in every way, and honestly, it's kind of like the least of all evils in my estimation. So I would not, thank you for asking the question, I would not personally switch to T-Mobile. I think this would be a boon if the rumors are true that T-Mobile is going to get an iPhone. Kind of stands to reason. They're really the last ones, and I don't know if this AT&T T-Mobile merger is going to go through, just like we talked about yesterday. So let's see here. Just going to look at a couple of the comments here before we wrap it up. Been on AT&T back when it was Singular. Now the funny thing is it was AT&T, then Singular, then back to AT&T. That's a long time. AT&T has no coverage where I live. I wish US Cellular would get an iPhone, says Indema Troy. Galaxy S2 looks nice. Indeed it does. Chris, what are your thoughts about the iPhone 4S being on Sprint, says My Funky Design. T-Mobile feels like the odd man out. If I was on T-Mobile, I don't know if I'd stick with them at that after the point that if you wanted an iPhone, T-Mobile's a good carrier. It is. I mean, it's as good as they come. But if you want an iPhone and an iPhone experience, and this is really what this video is about. I'm not talking about Android at this point. You can hang your hat on the hope that we're talking about that it will get the iPhone. Or you could switch to another carrier, pay the price, only to switch back to T-Mobile at some point if you love T-Mobile that much. But you also want an iPhone. It's not the cheapest possibility, but really it's the only way to satisfy you if you want a good iPhone experience and you like T-Mobile. You may have to leave only to come back when they get the iPhone. Not that I'm saying that people need to leave T-Mobile. I'm not. Everybody's got to make a different decision for themselves. I like T-Mobile, like I said. I would like to use more of their devices, but they never send them to me. I don't know why. Gee, could it be that? Could it be some of the advice that I'm dispensing? I don't know. See here. All right, let's move on. I'm looking down the list of videos that we need to do, guys. Thanks for hanging in, by the way, and thank you for the likes. I see that the likes are going up slowly but surely. Chris Airwolf1 says, Chris, do you see me lol? Yes, I do. I hope to God I don't swallow whatever the hell's in there. I think I did. I don't know what that was. Hopefully Diana didn't poison me. There are things that I've done online that you won't let me forget. I share everything. I've been doing that since like 1996. I put a lot of stuff out there about myself, and I've learned over time to keep some of those things for myself. And I've done a fair job at not sharing so much of my personal life with everybody. In fact, I'm thinking about getting into personal vlogging again, but keeping it private to those who become official nomies. We're working on a plan for you guys. Stay tuned for that. But when you're putting so much of yourself out there, there's an extreme danger that the right person's going to see it at the wrong time. You may think that the status updates that you're posting to Facebook are private, because today Facebook says they're private, but what if they flip a switch and accidentally your whole timeline gets seen, or one of your friends shares it with the world and you didn't realize that they could copy and paste? What if you upload a video to YouTube where you're ranting and raving about crazy things and posting wacky comments like I'm seeing here in the channel? I'm seeing in the live feed, people are posting things that I would be embarrassed to even say in front of somebody else's mom, let alone my own. When you leave this digital trail for yourself, understand it can be traced back to you. May not be a big deal right now. When you tweet that you're having some kind of issue and you use language that you probably shouldn't be using, you don't know who's watching. That could be your next potential job, your next employer. And you don't even need to be someone who's in the workforce to know that if you are not careful about what you do in social media today, it could wind up biting you. And the sad thing is, you could do it, and years later have forgotten you did it. But that could still bite you. There's still a trail that leads back to that point in time. There's a reason I'm very mindful about what I share online. And granted, I've done some silly things. I absolutely have. I'm sure people are going to dig them up, say, Chris, did you remember the time when you did this? Yes, I do. It will follow me around forever. Hasn't been an issue for me, but once or twice that I know of. I've lost potential gigs because of things that I'd done online, shared online. It could happen to you too. So if you're unemployed or you're looking to be employed at some point in the future, we have, beyond the tips that I've just shared, like be very mindful about what you're doing. There are certain habits that might be considered bad that you can stop like immediately. And so even if you don't plan on working for anybody else for the rest of your life, still be mindful about what you're saying and how you're saying it. So some of the bad things that can be done is reviewed in the article. Automatic DMs on Twitter, bad. That, to me, that just labels you as a spammer. If I see if I follow you and then you send me a DM, I unfollow you automatically, because it's just like, you're spamming me. I don't need this. Sharing all your Facebook posts with all the same people, I really don't need to see everything that you want to share with me. I don't. I like you and everything as much as I can possibly like you over the video, but that's just not really something. I don't need to see everything about your life. And honestly, I don't know if anybody clued you in, but you don't need to share every single thing that happens to you. We don't care. I'm speaking on behalf of your friend. We don't care. Your family who loves you, we don't care about everything. We just don't. You don't have to share everything. That's kind of the bottom line. Not replying or retweeting others, they can make you seem a little antisocial. It's true. And I'm antisocial. I'm about as antisocial as they come, and I still reply and retweet. What's a DM? Just to clarify that's the Twitter direct message. That's the term. Sorry about, not clarifying that for you. I realize I got to bring everybody up to speed. So we've shared a few bad habits or potential bad habits you should watch out for if you're looking for a job or if you're hoping to get a job at some point in the future. Social media can get you the job. It could also cost you the job. Be forewarned. Don't make me wag my finger again, because you know why? This burns calories, and I got winter coming. I got to save up as much, got a belly to uphold here. Are those Rubik's Cubes in the background? No, they're not. These are Tix clocks, T-I-X. And you might remember from a TLDR episode from a couple weeks ago, I'm still concerned of what the hell is floating in here. The person who invented the Tix clocks was murdered. It was a random murder that happened in the Bay Area. So, very strange that it would happen. I have a variety of devices that connect to the internet. Duh. Surprise. Some of those devices are connected to TVs. My Xbox 360, which, by the way, is more than just a gaming console, and that is certainly going to be true, especially with the pending entertainment update that they're going to push down the pike here in a few weeks. My PS3, my Wii, my Sharona, my Apple TV. I have a few things that I have connected to the television that happen to be connected to the internet. And through these devices, I'm able to do things like browse the web, potentially, if the device supports that. My Google TV is kind of an all-in-one internet device / television / entertainment center. And honestly, Google's doing as poorly as they're doing with it. I think they're doing the best job out there. So if you are looking to get some of these entertainment options, like Netflix, on your TV, but you don't want to upgrade your TV, and let's say you don't want to spend $100. That's fine. What about $50 to get access to Netflix on your TV? The Roku LT, the purple one, might be an option for you. 720p video connected to your TV, and you're watching entertainment, the Netflix. So if you're already paying for a Netflix live subscription, or you'd consider it, but like, oh, I got a TV, but I don't have a way to pull in Netflix. You may sound like that, I don't know. The Roku LT was just picked up by a Roku fan, one of our own from Locker Gnome, and reviewed in the article that you might find, or you should find, linked in the show notes. And he gave it a thumbs up. He's a huge Roku fan. Personally, never had a Roku, never really had a need to have a Roku. I've been surrounded by media centers and DVRs and everything. The Roku LT, though, it's a part of a series, because $50 bare bones, it's the purple one, and then it scales up from there. So if you want different features, you can spend a little more money. So if you're looking, it sounds like the best known brand, the best entry level internet entertainment system / console all around, the best package, because it's not that expensive. $50 to upgrade, and then you can watch Netflix, your whole family, or just you, if you like Netflix. For some reason, Netflix is the killer app. And the funny thing is, Netflix has some good content, but, unless you like documentaries or, certain programs that they currently have over their live service, Netflix kind of sucks. But it's the best thing out there. It really is. And it's the networks that are holding it back. Hulu was good for a while. But now a lot of those networks are developing their own apps for either like an iPad or an Android experience. Maybe we'll eventually see the day where it'll just be easy, because it's not yet. And we'll see a day where a TV just works right out of the box. Maybe your TV has that feature, but if you don't have the feature, it sounds to me, what Ron has to say is that the Roku LT may be an option for you, something to put on your wish list if you wanted that for your entertainment system. Now, my question to you is, at a greater level, do you have a Roku? Do you like the Roku? Do you have an alternative device? I've named a few that I have. Looks like, okay, never mind, haha, but I have the Roku one, and great buy. Cheapest access for Netflix or Hulu, and it is extremely easy to work, says Charles CC1000. It's not just me who's saying this. It's not just me who's seeing it. Other people are as well. Let's see here. I'm looking here. Oh, thank you. Someone says, I'm liking your discussion, says Lee, or How the World Works on YouTube. Arson XY says, like this video. Yes, thank you. We appreciate the likes. Documentaries are fresh. I agree. In fact, both Diana and I love documentaries. Watched quite a few of them using the Netflix service. So there you go. Thumbs up for Roku. And I have to thank Ron for being a Roku fan and for writing it, if only for your benefit. Enjoy the article. That is if you read the article. I don't know. Maybe you're not. I don't have a Microsoft Gold or the Xbox Live Gold subscription. I may have to upgrade to it. I don't know. It just seems like I don't use it all that often. I know. God, what the hell was in that thing? Seriously, it's got me concerned. I have no idea what was floating in that wine. I mean, live video juice. The reason why I am streaming today's TLDR episode live on YouTube a few hours late than what I wanted to stream it at is because Hang on, I think. Oh, I'm just making sure. My heart skipped a beat. I thought the video feed froze for a second. It didn't. Whew, dodged a bullet there. Hopefully everything's going fine with the live video feed. Not just in the re-encode on YouTube, but also with you guys watching. If you see any headaches or hiccups, feel free to let me know. Normally, I plan on streaming these TLDR live episodes around 3 p.m. Pacific time here in the Seattle area, if only to be standard. Of course, we make sure everybody knows when the next live video is going to be. We throw it out in our email newsletter on lockergnome.com. We post it to Twitter, Facebook, Google+, and beyond. You can see the annotation likely for the next live video, at least in the current live video. But the reason I was late doing it today is because I was spending some time with my friends over at AMD. You may have heard of this company, kind of, it's an up-and-comer. I think they got a chance, right? They're doing some processors. They're doing some GPUs. Yeah, it's a company, ATI. I'm not sure. Has anybody, you've heard of ATI out there? Of course, I'm being a little sarcastic. AMD is a nice company that's been around for a long while, and enthusiasts certainly love AMD. So they invited me down to their office to take a look at some of the things that they were working on. And it was really kind of fun and interesting to have these conversations. I didn't realize that AMD had an office up here in the Seattle area. I guess it makes sense. They do a lot of work with Microsoft, specifically in conjunction with optimization of their drivers. So if you have problems with AMD's drivers or ATI drivers, I may know of someone who might be able to help. Probably going to point you to the forums. So when I was there, I finally had a chance to play with Windows 8. In person. I'd seen screenshots and videos. I'd seen someone walking around with a device before, but, couldn't really touch it because that would have been really weird to walk up to someone I didn't know and say, "Can I touch your tablet?" I'm not that creepy in real life, honestly. And if you ever see me in real life, if you ever meet me, don't ever ask to touch my devices. Just, it's not cool. But they let me touch their devices there, and AMD, it was like a playground. Oh my God. Oh, I had died and gone to APU heaven. So AMD has been working on optimizing their CPU and GPU in conjunction with one another to really unleash the power of the computer that you already have. And they're doing some good work in optimizing. So they talked about what was coming with Windows 8. And this was all, it was not a press junket. It was just, a couple guys just kind of hanging out and talking. And so I got to play with Windows 8. This happened at the same time that we had written an article today. Has Microsoft waited too long to join the tablet craze? And right there on the table, there were a couple of devices. One they had kind of put together. They jerry-rigged a monitor that had like a 30-point touch screen on it. It was a really good job. Actually. For a hack, it was beautiful. And then they had a classic a tablet experience, with each one of them running Windows 8. And I gotta tell you, the hardware wasn't necessarily optimized, but it was a generally smooth experience on an unoptimized build. So, and I'm talking specifically the Metro interface. Are you familiar with the Metro? So it's like the boxes that you likely see on Windows Phone 7s. Trust me, you'll see Windows splattered with the Metro interface. I had mentioned in recent videos about being concerned how Microsoft is approaching the tablet ecosystem. They're trying to shoehorn classic Windows into the new experience. And let me tell you, using the build that I used, if I was a Windows user, I would be very, very, very worried about upgrading to Windows 8. If I did not have a touch screen. Windows 8 will be, from everything I can see, a good experience on a touch screen. Even in preview builds, even beta software. The problem is, they've bifurcated the UX. I'm sitting there and looking at the Metro interface and kind of browsing back and forth. Oh, that's kind of cool. All right, I like this. I tap and it opens up. Oh, that's kind of neat. Tap and then I tap here and then it jumps me back into the classic Windows interface. And I'm like, The difference to me, as clean as Aero is, A-E-R-O, that's the Windows 7 or the Windows Vista experience that you're used to, the UI, the Chrome, not Google Chrome, I mean the Chrome of the user interface in Windows. the equivalent of jumping from a Metro Touch experience back to the classic Windows, and it's not, I can't call it classic because classic mode's another thing that we know about in Windows. Jumping into the old Windows experience is like jumping from a Windows 7 experience to a command prompt. Granted, that's a dramatic difference, but it's dramatic. It's like I'm using two different operating systems. It jumps you out, and again, it's beta. Microsoft has a lot of polishing to do. I don't want to use Windows in two different experiences. I want one experience. If I'm going to be using the Windows Metro UI, that's it. Period. I don't want to see the classic UI. I don't want it. And if I want to use the classic UI, I don't want to see the Metro UI. They're one or the other. And Microsoft, at this point, is trying to push both in your face. And unless they make that switch a possibility, like boot up in this mode or boot up in this mode, or operate in this mode or operate in this mode, I think, and I guess Forrester has released some research saying that there are very few people who want a Windows 8 tablet because of this experience. You can get mad at me. I'm not a developer. I'm not responsible for it. I'm suggesting to Microsoft that they not split those experiences within the same experience. They need to make them independent. That's how they need to split the experience. The classic Windows that you've known and loved, and the new touch-oriented Windows. But if you do not have a touch computer, something that allows you to touch on the screen, hopefully a nice screen, you are going to be frustrated with Metro. You are going to be frustrated with jumping back and forth. It's just not a good experience. So, we asked the question, has Microsoft waited too long to join the tablet craze? I don't think they've waited too long. I think there's still hope. Windows is a strong brand. They're doing their best to unify their Windows Phone 7 experience with the desktop experience. Metro's on the right path. I think they're doing the right thing with the App Store. But it might be a little too late in some respects. The iPad's doing quite well. I have no need to get another tablet. I do want to try Windows 8 on a touchscreen computer. Would I want a Windows 8 tablet over, say, an Android tablet or an iPad? Not necessarily, because there's nothing I could do on that tablet experience that I couldn't do on something else at this point, for all intents and purposes. And I'm talking about general usage. Most people just use their computer, browse the web, maybe edit a couple photos. I'm not talking about gamers, okay? You guys are in a completely different class, and that's fine. And you're fine to... Chris, you have 3D hands, lol, says Hasamok. Thank you, I guess. Optimized. I don't know why. Either way, I think that it's going to be a tough row for Microsoft to hoe. It could be too late. They may be expensive. If Microsoft expects to sell a tablet PC over $500, they've lost the game. Don't even bother starting. I'm sorry. That's just economics, dude. Don't get mad at me for that. And I don't think anybody would argue with that either. I mean, I want to pay more. Who would argue that? Someone who doesn't quite understand. And it's not Microsoft who is necessarily the ones driving that price, but in many ways, their OEMs will dictate that price based largely on how much it costs them to get the operating system from Microsoft. I think Microsoft could price themselves out of the game. Gonna say it right here. Gonna say it right now. That's the one thing that I think could kill them. It really could. They can price themselves out of the game. You could agree. You could disagree. Do you think that Microsoft has waited too long to get into the tablet race? They have the tablet PC. Come on. If you ever used a tablet PC, you know it doesn't even come close to comparing. Come on. The tablet PC sucked. It was overpriced. It was slow. It was just not optimized for touch. And you don't get that until you use something that was optimized for touch. Tablet PCs were cute. But, there's a reason they didn't make it. There's a reason they weren't successful. Hey, get mad at me. That's just history. I want to know what you think. Let's see here. Polar Precise says, I'm not even excited about using Windows 8 other than using it on a tablet. And Polar Precise, I'm kind of with you on that one. I think that it's going to be a good touch experience, but again, maybe too late, maybe too expensive. Very few computers have touchscreens. Manufacturers would need to help push it. I think they could get it out there. I think you're going to see a lot more touchscreen PCs in the coming year. I think 2012 is going to be a big boon for touchscreen. We did a video on that yesterday, as a matter of fact. The HP touchpad was ported for Windows 8. That's actually, that'd be kind of a cool Windows 8 PC, especially if you had the touchpad or you picked it up for $99. That's one hell of a bargain. I don't know. I keep throwing up my hands like they're going to shoot me or something. Don't shoot the messenger. I say that all the time. Well, what do you think? Is it too late? Yeah, I think Windows 8 is my nightmare, says Edward the Tech Geek. There was something floating in here, honey.
Like a bug?
It looked like toilet paper. I don't know what it was, but I think I drank it.
Maybe napkin.
Oh, well. Hope it won't kill me. Well, that which doesn't kill me will only make me stronger. Okay. Is there an equivalent for you on Android? I'm asking Siri.
Checking your location.
Why is it checking my location?
I couldn't find an address for that.
Oh! Siri could not find an address for that. Now, I don't know if she means like a domain name, a web address. No, she probably didn't. But if you have Android and you have Siri Envy, which you may have, obviously not based on that particular query, there's a possibility for you. I don't know if you heard about it. I don't know if you subscribe to the Locker Gnome RSS feed or our email newsletter, but we wrote about something today called Cluzee. And with it, you can have Siri-like functionality on Android. Now, granted, there was Iris. Wasn't quite perfect, not exactly fully baked. And there's a lot of Siri wannabes out there, but Cluzee seems to be the one that everybody's been waiting for. A nice tight integration. We had posted a screenshot, and unfortunately I don't have that computer that I'm looking at in front of the camera. I can't even turn around because it's actually I can. I'm going to do that. Ugh. This is what I look at. This is the screen. So, daily brief, essentials, local search, personal day planner, personal health planner, taxi, personal radio, personal notes. So the list kind of goes on and on. I'm just looking at the article here on lockergnome.com. So the idea behind doing this is... hang on. I don't want to hit the camera there. Hopefully it's good. It's not in the way. The idea behind doing this is the... idea that you could use your voice to do anything. Not anything, really. You can't even use Siri to do anything. So this is a possibility for you to try. Cluzee, again, for Android. Some of the shortcomings would be enough to get me not to use it. I'm going to list the second one that we had written about. It's just not as good at parsing speech as Siri is. And that is kind of a big deal. When I'm talking, and blah, 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 I'm surprised at how frequently Siri will understand what it was I was saying and then do something for me. I think it was the other day we were at the movies and I said, remind me when I get home. And it was in a loud environment. Diana, you're not just agreeing with me because you were there and you're my girlfriend. I mean, you heard it, right?
Yeah.
I said, remind me when I get home to key in the code for... something. I needed to get my affinity number for the thing about I'm going blank here. A key ring holder. I use an app. There's a little bonus here. I think it's actually called Keyring that stores all my numbers on it. Let me see if I'm going to pull it up here. Yeah, it's called Keyring, and so I can get all my membership card numbers and everything. I needed to put in my Regal Entertainment number. And so it picked it up, and it made the reminder, and Siri really worked. And that's, I think, what separates Siri from a lot of the would-be competitors.
And we had completely forgotten about it.
Me doing it? Right. And then when we got home, it popped up, and the iPhone said, hey, you need to do this, because I asked it to. And sewing together not just the voice feature, but the functionality that lies beyond the voice feature. That's where Siri excels. It's that experience. So this may be, Cluzee, may be the one that you'll want to use on Android. Give it a shot. It seems to be, at this point, the leader. I'd be interested in seeing Chris FaceTime me, lol, ha ha ha. No. Why would I FaceTime you? So, with that, maybe you know of another alternative for Siri on Android, one that does even better than Cluzee. At least I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it, Cluzee. Or if you want to read our write-up to see if it is the one for you, feel free. Links in the show notes, yada, yada, yada. How is that video?
I found 20 video rental stores. 14 of them are fairly close to you.
Video rental stores? I don't know. Siri isn't always perfect. Neither am I. Why not FaceTime? So that's a good question, because no. That's why. That's your answer. Yeah, I don't think we need to do video on the Mission Critical Innovation Awards, although we did post something on Locker Gnome today. I'm not sure really what could be said about that at this point, but if you are interested in IT and it's something part of your career, and specifically mission critical apps and hardware, we've listed some award winners on lockergnome.com. I'm not going to do a full-on video right now, but at some point you may just click over there and look. That's the name of the title, the article title, Mission Critical Innovation Award Winners. Link is in the live show notes. Okay. Do you FaceTime a lot, Chris? No, I do not. Do you still have an iSkin case? No, I do not. Chris can't read this. Says EXDIO7. No, I can't. To overlay. I'm typing to my producer, Matt. Okay, I had to, even though there's like 74 typos in that. Hey, we need some intermission music. Can you hum something?
No, you should sing.
I should sing?
Yeah.
Okay.
You sing very well.
I guess this is the challenges of doing live video under the lights. I'm not as hot as I was before.
Already seen where they're from?
Yeah, people did already key in where they're from, and we have a couple hundred likes.
Oh, wow.
We're doing pretty well with the likes. I'm pretty happy. So let's go ahead and move on. I'm happy when an application for my iPhone is available, if I want to try it. And I'm happier when it doesn't cost me anything to try. It may upgrade to a different experience at some point. In some cases, I don't have the opportunity to try something for free to know I'd want to spend money on it. I've asked for refunds a couple times, actually, because of that. So the way that some publishers offset their costs is with ads. And, how many of you guys have downloaded an app and seen an ad in? I think we all have. You've probably got, how many apps do you have installed, honey?
About 60.
My girlfriend's got 60 apps installed. How many of those have banners?
Most of them. Most
of them. But that's fine, because it doesn't cost you anything. It's like, doing video. We have, probably some advertising running through here. And that's okay, because you get something for free. The publisher gets some money if you click on the ad, or maybe even if the ad is served up, they may get money. A few months ago, I met someone, it was about a year ago. I met someone who was originally hired by Dig to work on some things they needed to work on. He didn't get to implement his changes before he had to move on with his project. But a nice guy, and I found out that he recently got funded for an idea. It's called Clip. It's basically ad-based rewards that make in-game advertising a lot more appealing. So if you've ever downloaded a game for Android, iOS, whatever, and it didn't cost you anything, and there were ads in it, and it was kind of jarring because it's like, it just looks horrible and it takes you out, there is a possibility that the advertising could work better using Clip's system. I don't know if you are a game developer, but if you know of a game developer, or if you have a favorite game on a mobile platform that you want to have the game developer, develop better for. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say Clip? My eyes are kind of crossed. It's Kiip. K-I-I-P. I meant to say Kiip. Kiip. This is the problem when you read things on the web. You know how many times I've been introduced as Mr. Pirillo? There's no extra I in my last name. So I apologize. It's actually Kiip. But the idea is solid, right? It's predicated on a system that is completely different from any other advertising system that we've seen. This is one of the reasons why it got funded. And I think everybody here, how many people here game? Let's see here. That person games. AY3XA says Cut the Rope is the best game ever. Some games reward you in-game currency for downloading other apps. Is that what you mean? Not exactly. There are certain incentives that can exist within the game that make it feel like you're not even seeing advertising at all. Really. Your product placement is certainly one of them. But they figured out a way to make it work for games. And so we've written, a nice synopsis about what this is, why it's different, why it's valuable, not just for the game developers, but for the game players as well. So if you play the games, and this looks interesting to you, not Clip. KLIP is another app that I remember from a while ago. Clip was an RSS reader. Is it still an RSS reader? Sorry, I still have that on the brain. This is Kiip or Kiip. I don't know. Apparently I needed to find out how to pronounce it before I talked about it. No shock. I messed up. Either way, if this sounds like a keeper to you, even if you're not a developer, you may want to tell your favorite game developer about this system if they rely on advertising in their games to keep it free or certainly low cost. Melissa Help says mobile device gaming is a fail, or is fail, just an opinion. Yeah, it's just an opinion because really, I think 99% of the games that I play are on this device because it's always on me. It's there. But I'm a casual gamer, though, which is like a lot of the market. Not a lot of hardcore gamers in the grand scheme of things. There are a lot of hardcore gamers, but in the percentage play, not as much. The hardest gaming I do is FIFA 12 on iOS. Plants vs. Zombies. I'm an iOS gamer, says Computer Live 22. Getting quite a bit of feedback here in the live video feed. Certainly appreciate the comments and the interplay. I guess that's a bigger question. Do you play a lot of your games on your mobile devices? Maybe that's the question we should be asking. And if so, are those games supported by advertising? Clip. Thanks, Matt. Oh, is it Kiip? Mm-hmm. We'll find out. If anybody's even watching this video after it's been encoded, I'd be shocked. I would be. In fact, if you made it this far in the video and the audio isn't messed up, just say pancake. Pancake is the keyword. I love Lego. I've admitted this over and over and over again. And some people like Minecraft. Others have compared Minecraft to Lego. In fact, there was a Lego assembly that was built for the conference that just happened for Minecraft in Las Vegas a couple weeks ago. Kind of neat. I mean, they're kind of similar in the sense that they're very blocky. mc.lockergnome.com has not been put up yet. Still been waiting for the right time to put it up. Do I plan on putting up a Minecraft server? I really don't know how many people really want me to do it, honestly. I mean, we kind of got, some people say yes, some people say no, some people say it's yesterday's news. But Minecraft, I don't know if you realized, can be used as an educational tool. There are so many facets to Minecraft. It's like, I'll make a corollary. There are studies that have shown that surgeons who play video games are better surgeons because they have the hand-eye coordination. I would go as far as to say students who play games that engage their mind will make better students. Minecraft isn't just a mindless game. Whether you like it, hate it, it's not. Lego, to a certain degree, I mean, if I'm going off of instructions, it's kind of mindless. I just, assemble, like, put brick here, put brick here, put brick here. If I'm building my own construction, it takes a bit more creativity, thought, imagination. And that is the one tool that you can develop for yourself. Now, I'm not talking a Minecraft tool. The tool of imagination. That is going to continue to serve you for the rest of your life. You will quickly learn how to make things work, how to put 2 and 2 together to come up with 5. In Minecraft is this seemingly endless galaxy of possibilities, not just connecting with other people, but creating experiences based on what you have in here and using tools, digital tools, to construct the things that you want to see happen. Using your imagination is, to me, the pinnacle of intelligence. You could have book smarts. You could know, how to recite Shakespeare backwards and forwards. But to be creative with that knowledge, that's showing your smarts. It absolutely is. Someone asked, Weird Michael 999, did you learn this in English class? Yes, I did. I learned how to be creative with creative writing. In Minecraft, I put in that same category. Minecraft can be used as an educational tool. We've gone into this in the article that we've linked in the show notes. It's not just a game. It can be an educational game. And some of the points that we bring up, there's an educational discount, by the way, if you didn't know, for Minecraft. There are workshops and training to be had. Minecraft EDU custom Minecraft mod. So there are a lot of possibilities that exist in Minecraft that haven't existed in similar worlds. Certainly ones that have been built, by other people. I don't know why Minecraft took off over every other type of similar experience. Certainly, I cannot find a corollary. Other people said, "Oh, try this one; it's newer. Try this one; it's better." I haven't even downloaded the very limited, experience for iOS yet. $7 for an app that I haven't really engaged with it's a little too much for me. Not that much of a hardcore Minecrafter. I've only really done it a couple times. I admit it. And like I said, had considered, doing our own server if I can find the right construct for it. I still like Lego, and to me, I'm building. Lego is my Minecraft, man. I mean, I realize I can't, dive into it and move it here and build it there, and I have to, work with the pieces I have. But I don't know. I just like having that something physical there, and I think it would be awesome if at some point it was easy to export what you build in Minecraft into a Lego construct. That would be cool. Artist Wiz says, I like Lego in Minecraft. Austin Lallen says, Chris, honestly, do you love Minecraft? I don't. You never would see me play it on the live video feed. Let's see here. There's imagination is key. So, TJ Bausch says exactly what I say. Without imagination, I think your growth is going to be stunted. If you like Minecraft, awesome. If you don't like Minecraft, find something else. For leisure time or, for doing things with, that engages your imagination. You will find yourself becoming more creative beyond the things that you're doing, whatever you do normally. Unless, of course, you are a professional Minecraft gamer. I don't know if there are any, really, at this point in time. Either way, did you know that it could be used as an educational tool? I don't know if you did. I'm guessing they didn't. It's a pretty wild guess. Do you use Siri? As I'm streaming this out over YouTube Live, I'll ask everybody who's watching, leave a comment. What would you like me to ask Siri during the course of this video? we've written an article, 10 ways that Siri is being used in everyday life. I mean, we're not talking about extreme measures. I mean, like every single day. Wake me up tomorrow at 8 a.m. Translated it well?
You already have an alarm set at 8 a.m. I turned it on for you.
Nice. So that's one example. Setting an alarm. It's simple. Instead of keying through and sliding and typing, just talk to it. Just talk to it and just let it happen. Real world example. Who does not set an alarm on a regular basis? Remind me to do something every day. You set up the reminders. Asking about weather. These are practical applications. Send a text to. In fact, it was funny. One of my earlier frustrations with Siri is that it was not remembering my girlfriend. I said, please send a text to my girlfriend. Who's your girlfriend? I said, well, it's Diana. And it said, okay, do you want me to remember that Diana is your girlfriend? I'm like, yes. And I had to do this over and over and over again. And it kept recording her as my spouse, my assistant, all these things, but my girlfriend. And the reason why is because I was connecting to an Exchange server to store the contact information rather than the mobile me server. So now I've changed the way that her fields are mapped. Your fields are mapped differently, honey. She's just off camera. So there are a lot of ways you could use Siri if you haven't even thought about it before. The default apps that are on your iPhone, because really at this point Siri is available for the iPhone. At this particular point in time, is just the iPhone for us. Tell Siri, what food do you like best? Okay, this is someone. Let's see here. The man he guy asks me to ask that. What food do you like best? I don't think it's going to have an answer to this. Checking your location. Looking for restaurants. That didn't help. Whoa. Did you hear it echo? It echoed my voice back to me. That was kind of crazy. That was a little weird, too, actually. Ask Siri, do you like Diana more than me? Me as in you. Says iTutorial UK. Do you like Diana more than me?
Sorry, I don't understand. Crazy little weird to have to ask Siri like damn wasn't me using you says I to do you can.
I think I had my finger on the... You gotta know how to use Siri. This is serious. Do you like Diana more than me?
I really have no opinion.
Actually, thought that I was asking about Diana Morgan May. I don't even know a Diana Morgan May. I don't even know if a Diana Morgan May even exists. If you want me to ask something of Siri, I will be happy to. The beauty of Siri is that you can use it for things that you're doing anyway with your phone, your iPhone in this case. If you are afraid of using it because it won't work, you could be missing out on something that you didn't even realize was a possibility. And that, I think, holds us back from a lot of new technologies. For years, Microsoft would release new versions of Office, but ultimately most people just use copy and paste. The simple things, right? They wouldn't know where to find the feature because they didn't know how to get to it. Well, when you have the ability to control this device just with the sound of your voice, you try things. You never know if it's going to work. I personally, as I've outlined in other videos, I love using it for setting reminders, location-based reminders. Remind me before I leave the house to turn off the stove.
Here's your reminder for when you leave home.
So it set the reminder for when I leave home. I don't want it to cancel. I don't need it to create a task for me to turn off the stove when I leave. But it was really that simple. I just thought, what do I need to do? I asked, and it happened. Someone is here. Don't take it light. Wants me to ask Siri, where were you born? I have an idea.
Sorry, I don't understand. Where were you born?
Doesn't understand the question. Where's Hal? I'll try that one. Where's Hal?
Sorry, I don't understand. Where's Hal?
Siri's having a problem understanding me. See, even when they tout it as the latest and greatest technology, it doesn't always work. So if you have a big case of Siri envy, don't be too envious. It works. and there are certainly ways that you can fit it into your existing workflow. I'm curious to know, I mean, beyond the silliness with Siri, and beyond some of the examples that we've listed here, practical examples of how you could use Siri, we've listed out 10 ways you can use it in everyday life. Do you have any other Siri tips to pass along? I'm certainly interested in knowing how I could use it differently, if only because, hey, I've already paid for the device. Might as well get the most use out of it, right? Ask one more question here, and then we'll round out the video with that. Who's your creator?
I don't know.
A veritable font of knowledge. That's about as much Siri as I guess we can take. I love this time of year. It's my favorite time of year. I love listening to Christmas music. I love looking at Christmas lights. I love decorations. Can't wait to get a real tree, bring it into the house. Hopefully, no woodland creatures have stowed away again this year. Kind of awkward, because they drink all my nog. Really makes me mad when woodland creatures drink my nog. I don't know if anybody else has had that problem. Either way, if you're in a group of friends and you want to exchange gifts, how do you do it? I mean, you might have a party, right? Maybe your friends are not really friends; they're coworkers or colleagues. You could, figure out ways to exchange gifts. You can get everybody a gift, or you can do something that's known as Secret Santa. Well, we wanted to do a Secret Santa for Locker Gnome, and we invited some of our regular contributors at the time that we wanted to do this. We asked, hey, do you want to participate in the Locker Gnome, the first in 15 years, the first Locker Gnome Secret Santa program? And the reason why we did this program, not like a program that you run, .exe, but I mean like a Secret Santa thing, for the lack of a better word. The reason why is because we wanted to test this application called Elfster. So if you want to do a Secret Santa with friends who live near you, or people who live all around the world, if you want to do a Secret Santa, try Elfster. It was pretty easy, actually. I clicked the link. I said, yes, I'd like to join. And I don't even think I needed to add anything. It says, okay, well, would you like to add any of your things that you do want? And you do this quick search. I didn't need to, do a search, but I could just start keying things in. But as it does the search, it populates like thumbnails from Amazon or links to Amazon and whatever. I tried crossing over my Amazon wish list, which I have, and most of what's on there at this point is Lego. And I just linked off to the wish list from my Elfster page. And then you can see a timeline of everybody who's, in the Secret Santa program. I know who I was the Secret Santa for. I obviously did not know who was the Secret Santa for me. But it was kind of neat to see what people were adding in this little pool of things. And we decided right up front, you can spend up to this much money and do it like basically a gift exchange. It's kind of neat. So if you'd never considered doing a Secret Santa because you didn't really have the tool to organize it, or maybe you have been doing it before, but it was kind of a pain, Elfster was, I got to tell you, not perfect. I wish it would have done more in terms of crossing over with my Amazon wish list. I didn't want to have to key everything in again or search everything in again. But for my first Secret Santa over the internet experience, it was pretty simple. And I think this is something that you might consider doing with, your favorite groups of people who you may have never met in real life. Your guild, your LinkedIn group, your whatever. Using a tool like this is fun. It's easy. You can give a gift. You can get a gift. I mean, you would have to buy a lot of gifts for people, but if you want to get gifts from people, you have to give. So think of all the groups you could send out Elfster invitations to get gifts back. Because you got to give them out, though. I mean, you could buy them for yourself, sure, but that's not as much fun to buy stuff for yourself. It's not as exciting. Get your girlfriend to sit in your lap before you end the stream. Lol, I want to be like you, says Matthews Moody. Honey, I think that's his Christmas wish. Would you like to sit on my lap, sweetie?
No, I can't. People are complaining that I'm in too many videos.
Well, honey, is this your Christmas wish? We're answering the question on YouTube Live here, because they tuned in. It's his wish, honey.
I'll make an appearance tomorrow.
You don't want... She'll make an appearance tomorrow, I guess. So put that on your wish list, everybody, if you would like Diana to be in more. I don't think you're in enough videos here. It's kind of fun to have someone who cares so much. We're having fun though with our gift exchange. I know what I got her for Christmas, and I'm not telling her. It's fun though, because I'm taunting her, giving her clues and everything. Light Switch Larry says, I'm doing Elfster. Awesome. I'm off to bed, dude. Good night. Thanks. No worries. Chris is not Santa. That is correct. Not this year. So check out the link to the article. We've written a review, if only to give us props. That'd be great. Let everybody know where you found out about Elfster from Locker Room, as you probably didn't hear about it before. Maybe you did. I don't know. Google is pretty big. We all know this. The first time I saw Google, I thought it was a joke. The user interface, it was just so, to me, poorly designed. To that point, I was still using MSN search as my default search, way back in the day. We're talking, I grew up with Lycos and Webcrawler, and see, what were some of the other classic search engines that we relied on? Yahoo, even. Back when they were still just a directory. The challenge that I am facing on an increasing basis with Google, and yes, I realize I'm using YouTube Live, a Google service, to broadcast this, and YouTube to post the video, is that they're getting really big. Really big, and that worries me, because I know their motto is do no evil, hopefully no being spelled N-O, not K-N-O-W. But when you give any one company this much power, and you use it so frequently, and so much of your life is tied into it, that's dangerous. They recently did a round of updates that hurt a lot of legitimate content publishers. They slapped us pretty hard, actually. And, we've been working to combat that, for the greater part of a year. So we really appreciate the support that you give. When you subscribe to the Locker Room email newsletter, when you subscribe to our RSS feed, when you link back to our blog posts, we appreciate it. Because Google sees that as an indication that we are creating content that you appreciate. But Google is not working in your best interest. They are a company, they're a business, they're an enterprise. They're working in their best interest. They've got to stay around, right? That should kind of concern you. But where are you going to turn for search beyond Google? Well, you can take it in-house, possibly. And there's a project that, kind of hit the web by storm just today. At least this is the first time I got a flood of information about it. In fact, their search server crashed. It's a peer-to-peer search engine called YaCy. Y-A-C-Y. And in my estimation, this could be a formidable opponent to Google. I know you say, well, Bing tried and Bing didn't succeed. Bing, there's another private company. We're talking about a peer-to-peer search engine, and we described exactly how it works in the article that we linked in the show notes. Let's see here. Give me a second. I'm going to pull it up here if the server's working, just to show you kind of what it looks like. Not that much to look at. Then again, neither is Google. YaCy. Or YaCy, decentralized web search by the people, for the people. It's decentralized, completely decentralized. Free world, public YaCy community. So you can install different iterations just for local searches. But I foresee a day where this could take on Google directly. Now, yes, spammers could certainly infiltrate. They likely will. I mean, they're going to go where the money is. But you, instead of going through Google and Google search results, which they used to be better than they are. I think they've kind of slipped in recent, with the Panda update, I would argue that they did slip. But going towards a decentralized open web search seems to me that's the future of search, is completely open. Just like I've said for the longest period of time, that the future of software is open. And that's something that, you have to consider. Every time you go to Google and you do a search result, they're tracking something. Well, YaCy ain't tracking nothing. It's just beginning. And I think its promise and potential is gigantic. And if anybody should be worried, it's Google, because they're top dog. And the fact that it is open and decentralized creates this powerful network of ways to get to the content or the information that you need to get to. I think this could very well, I'm not going to say hurt Google. I'm not going to say kill Google at all. But I think it will give them some really stiff competition. I believe that. More so than Bing. Bing's done their best. But it's still a private enterprise. Microsoft, they're a company. We're not talking about a company. The name of it again, Brown Tech X. As I've linked it, you can look in the show notes right here, even for the live page. Peer-to-peer search engine YaCy takes on Google, and their mission may not be to topple Google. I mean, that's a bad mission to have. You never want to set up a mission to destroy another company. You're going to fail, or you should fail. But I think they're going to move the ball forward, if only because I think people realize, hey, my life's getting tracked. I don't like that. And, Google has done a lot for search, but they've also done a bit to hurt search. They've done a good job, but they're the only game in town. I hate to say that. There needs to be competition. There really does. Google's search needs a competitor. Bing is not it. It's not it. Not even close. YaCy's got a chance. I mean, there's enough of a differentiating factor along the open ethos lines that it makes a compelling story. You can download and install it on your own if you want, if you're a programmer. This is something to keep your eye out for. I'm glad that we were able to surface this information for you, if only to let you know that something like this exists. You can read why, even further, why we believe that this is going to be a big deal, especially in relation to Google, because the need for privacy in search and the need to have this peer-to-peer network, this database that doesn't rely on one provider. I think it's just the beginning of a pretty radical change. How it will succeed, that remains to be seen. But I certainly wanted to let you know about this new tool. We wrote up the article. Thanks for checking out. If you have any thoughts on that, you of course are welcome to let us know. You'll leave a comment, I'm sure, and share the link if you want. And then, of course, index us if you decide to install your own version of that on your own server and make the world a better place. Make the web a tighter place for all of us to traverse. I've got one more video to do. And thank you, by the way, for everybody tuning in and liking the video. I want to do one more video that's specifically on... give me a second. Engadget. I know I caught a lot of flack for this. And this is going to be the last video we're doing today. So thank you again for liking the live video as you're watching it. I was featured on Engadget the other day. And very happy to be featured on Engadget. Tim Stevens reached out to me and asked if I wanted to do something on Growing Up Geek. And I thought about it. And I was like, my life story is really not that interesting. I didn't think it was. And I kind of wanted to use it as a bully pulpit of sorts, if only to stir the pot and get the discussion going a bit. And so the article, of course, is on Engadget. That's our backlink of the day. Very happy when anybody out there, if you have a website, if you link to an article on lockergnome.com, thank you. So Engadget is it's a good website. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's kind of a teeny little thing. Honey, have you ever heard of Engadget?
Yes.
Oh, even my girlfriend has heard of Engadget. I guess that means it's a big deal.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and read the text as was linked on the article, since you may be watching this video, but you're not going to necessarily take the time to click or read or find it. So again, I did take this approach for a specific reason, if only to try to make it a bit different than the other ones. Some people liked the approach, some people thought it was too defensive. Either way. Before I begin, let me just say I am not a slave to your mental delusions of who you think I am. I should probably have an aside. What that means is I am not who you think I am. I am me. I don't live in the mental box that you've carved out for me. I'm me. Not who you think I am. I'm just me. So even if you think I'm somebody else, I'm me. That's what I was trying to say. Had to get that out of the way largely because I've been doing things publicly for so long that some people have already formed opinions about me and what they believe I stand for. That's their problem, not mine. Because people ultimately think, oh, Chris Pirillo, he's just a whiny little guy who does nothing and he blah, 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 blah. You don't know anything about me. You haven't walked a mile in my shoes. You know nothing. Nothing. I don't share everything with the world. Yet, some people decide to form opinions about me, even though they know nothing. I don't know if there was ever a specific moment that I found myself attracted to electronic objects. I certainly recall playing with my cousin's Merlin and watching with wonder as my brother fiddled with his Alfie. I was certainly mesmerized by calculators, but that didn't lead me to develop advanced math skills. Here's an aside. I didn't write in here, and I probably should have. I had to speak in math at one time when I was growing up, too. That didn't help me with math either. Our family had an Atari 2600. I uploaded the unboxing of both it and my first Lego set to our YouTube channel, and you may have watched that a while ago. I think that's probably what started me down the path of being a casual gamer. It wasn't until my grandfather picked up a Commodore VIC-20 and connected it to a black and white television set that I started to explore home computing. They don't really call it that anymore. Granted, there wasn't much you could do with a computer back then. I honed my curiosity when Santa delivered a Commodore 64. The sights, the sounds. Those were the days. I fiddled with basic programming for a while, but really no more than the average child might have done in the day. I loved the home computer for what it enabled me to do. Software, as crafted by other hands, drove an addiction. The Atari 2600 took a backseat to the original NES, the NES. Though a few years later, I wasn't as interested in gaming as much as I was writing. After having learned to type on a real typewriter, having word processing software at my fingertips was an immense accelerant. I suppose that interest is somewhat creative writing is why I eventually fell back on pursuing a degree in English. Gaming sucked, if only because the options were expensive and hopelessly buggy. I'm not talking about today. I'm talking back in the day. Gaming was fun, but it was also a pain. It wasn't until a few years later, as a sophomore in college, that I would get connected to the internet for the first time. And that's when I'd say my life really changed. From the first email I sent to a guy sitting across from me in a computer lab, I was hooked. Couldn't be this easy. Couldn't be this incredible. Mind you, the terminal was a PC running some earlier form of DOS. No graphics, no World Wide Web, no Windows. But my eyes were open. It was fun to explore what the internet had to offer, limited as it was. I used the internet to connect with other people. Primarily, that's what drew me in day after day. I couldn't easily connect with people I knew because we didn't have Facebook back then, and it certainly was a hurdle to try to get an account at the university at the time. To me, the internet was still nothing without people. It still is that way. I fueled most conversations by way of something known as ISCA BBS, or ISCA for short. It was the world's leading BBS, or bulletin board system, back in the day. We had both Macs and PCs on campus, though it might be difficult to imagine or remember just how different they really were from one another back then. I lived largely in DOS, though I didn't have a computer of my own. My junior year roomie had an amazing Mac Classic, which I used to explore fonts and dynamic design HyperCard experiences. I had fun with that. I mean, HyperCard still, to this day, remains like one of the most amazing software experiences, as old as it is. My first computer of my own was a PC running Windows 3.11, Windows for Workgroups. And long before MP3s were available, I'd fill my 420 megabyte hard drive with amazing freeware that I'd find through newsgroups. Now, granted, I couldn't download the binaries directly. I had to download a piece of text, like a text file, that was usually UU encoded. I would have to UU decode it to get either the exe or the zip file, and then potentially unzip it if it was a zip file. It was a kludge to get software back then. But I became a true software addict. It was this passion for exploration and love for sharing my discoveries with others that created Chris Pirillo, the person that I am today. In 1996, I'd parlay an old high school nickname and online handle, Locker Gnome, into a brand for delivering information to other curious people. That's when social media started for me, back in the mid-90s, not just when Twitter was around. Within a few years' time, we would be sending LockerGnome.com email newsletters to over 100,000 people from around the world. And we still are sending out the newsletter. You can still subscribe to it on LockerGnome. LockerGnome.com, not the LockerGnome username on YouTube. I've been doing it, for a long time. and then some. My passion has, of course, led to other interesting and amazing projects over the years. But that's how it all started, with a Locker Room email newsletter online in 96, or, getting online for the first time in 92. It wasn't, as some people would contend, with Tech TV. I had actually made a name for myself, and as I continue with the article here, with peers long before the TV network was named, and I've certainly outlived it with a greater degree of success. Tech TV is no longer around and is never coming back. It wasn't until after I had authored a book on email publishing that I would even float onto the radar of the network show producers. They were looking for another person to fill some insanely large shoes, and that experience would become both a boon and a bane. Basically, I was there to become a show host where Leo Laporte was hosting before. And you want to talk about the master. That's him. I've never aimed to be anybody but myself, and some people have a problem with that. They're not afraid to share their less than constructive opinions about me with the world. The real irony? I get bullied more by other geeks now than I ever did by jockasses in high school. That's not funny. The enemy used to be them. Now it seems to be us. I was drawn to the internet with a sense of wonder, feeling this spirit of true connectedness. And now it seems that I'm becoming increasingly overwhelmed by a sense of rampant entitlement. I know that some geeks and nerds are happy to engage in antisocial destructive behaviors, but this should never be brandished as a badge of honor. It's a tremendous shortcoming in a day and age when everybody is connected to this global stream of consciousness with free-flowing content and approaching unlimited connectivity. I continue to publish my own perspectives and discoveries online, everywhere. Seriously, where am I not sharing something today? I'm sure I'm going to continue to craft geek-centric content for myself and others until the day I shuffle off this mortal coil. My goal? To continue to thrive in a career of being myself and to be acquired by AOL. That's how I ended the article. So some people were rubbed wrong, I think, by my defensiveness. But, to my point, as you were listening to me reading, you may have been responding in the comment thread, whether you're watching this unfold live or if you're watching after we have recorded and uploaded as a separate video here. There are probably people who are trolling and talking smack and generally hating. And if not in this comment thread, then certainly any other comment thread, either from my videos or other people's videos. There's so much bullying that goes on, largely because people who seem to have a severe lack of self-worth project their own shortcomings onto other people. And so when I talk about not living inside that mental box that you've constructed for me, it's speaking to respect and understanding you are connecting with real people on the internet. I'm a real person. I'm streaming out to real people right now. Whether it's Gundam Bob, I never knew how to say that word. 646, who repeats the word jockasses, likely thinking it was a funny word to make up, which I did. Correct Chris says Mormon Snofkin. Remember the compliments and forget the assholes no matter what stereotype background they reside in, says Kumar the Ifar. I remember when I downloaded Quake 3 from an IRC channel, says Kumar again. Talk about going way back in the day. These are real people. These aren't just usernames. Melissa Help says, haters gonna hate. It is true. You can't avoid the hate as much as you might try. But the hate used to come from people who weren't like us, the different people. Now we are hating each other. Dude, why? We're on the same team, okay? We may disagree on some things, but we should not be each other's enemy. The enemy is them. The jerks who never understood technology, who made fun of the geeks and the nerds in high school and grade school, who bullied us back then. Now we're the bullies. Why is that? Why? I do my best to remember that I'm connecting with other people. And granted, if you push me, you should expect to get pushed back. Because I've done it before. If you talk smack, I'll bring it down to your level. I got no problem with that. I stayed silent for so many years getting bullied. The last thing I'm going to do is take anything from someone who's less than half my age, who thinks he knows the world. I've said everything I need to say. Even though Aura Swan says, love your haters. Don't know if I do. Don't know if I do. But just wanted to get that across. Don't bully, especially you're gonna, okay, bullying's not a good thing, but them, they're the enemy, not us. Okay, just keep that in mind. And hopefully you got something out of that. And thanks again to Engadget for featuring me as a geek, even though not everybody was thrilled about the article because I was kind of defensive. I admit it. I wanted to start a conversation, that's all. And plus, I wanted to make up a new word. Jockasses. Although I don't think it's in an Urban Dictionary yet. Should be. Someone needs to do that. Will you be our next backlink of the day? All you need to do is link to lockergnome.com and let me know you did. That's it. And with that, I think we're going to go ahead and wind down. Got plenty of likes for this video. Thank you for liking. Appreciate you staying tuned throughout this entire video. I have no idea how long it's gone on. Even, really, wow. About an hour and a half, a little hour and 45. That's quite a long amount of time. But certainly, again, do appreciate you tuning in for the live stream, for following on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, subscribing to the Locker Gnome email newsletter, which I'm very proud about, subscribing to our RSS feeds on lockergnome.com, tweeting our links, sharing our links. I love it. Thank you. Trust me, I see it all. I see it all. Thank you for liking every single one of the videos. You know, if you're watching this live and you see the videos that are done in response to this one, the ones we've carved out, if you comment and like on those, it means so much to us. We put so much work into this every single day to create content, original content for you to learn stuff through on lockergnome.com, on YouTube, Twitter, and beyond, you know, this whole realm of social media. So with that, I think I've probably taken up enough of your time, and hopefully the audio will come out in the final encode of this, and if not, Google will have to go back and fix it at some point. But again, I appreciate your support. The next live video will be probably, you'll see somewhere over there, we'll put the annotation so you can click it to get the next live video for the countdown to tomorrow's live video feed. I'll also make sure we tease that out in our newsletter so you can get it there. We'll tease it out on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, so you can add it. You can actually go to youtube.com live, or I think it's /live, and there's a way to add it to your Google Calendar because it'll be in the schedule of events. And there's not a lot of YouTube live stuff happening right now. I think I'm one of the very few producers who are certainly doing things every day on YouTube, so I'm kind of pushing the envelope as far as this is concerned. I'm very happy to do so. So with that, thanks again for tuning in, and this video is worth my time. Thank you, SS Solb. Thanks for the video, Chris. You always teach important things. You and Diana have a nice evening, says Freddie Teddy.
Bye.
Did you know on December 11th, 1997, Locker Gnome, Chris already had 68,000 satisfied subscribers? That's funny. That's a long time ago, dude. Anyway, I think that's about it. So my email address, chris@pirillo.com. If you tuned in for this whole thing, if the audio was good, what's the keyword we can use? A different key. Eggnog. No, that's not it. That's not a good one. What's a good keyword? So we know someone listened to the whole thing.
Waffles.
Waffles. There, use that keyword in a comment. Waffles. It'll be just between us. So until tomorrow, we'll see you later.